Are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes.
More than 2 years after 4 University of Idaho students were brutally murdered in their off-campus home, Brian Coberger admits he did it. We'll take you to the hearing in Boise.
We're tracking high fire danger this evening and when our next round of rain might arrive.
We're working through a lot of different fuels and terrain. It's been a pretty dynamic situation.
Plus, a fast-moving wildfire sparks near Bonnie Lake, southwest of Spokane. With hot, dry, and windy conditions, it quickly grew to 400 acres, where it stands tonight. Good evening and thank you for joining us for the KREM 2 Night Report. I'm Mark Hanrahan. Tonight we are tracking a wildfire burning southwest of Spokane. It's right next to Bonnie Lake. It's burned about 400 acres so far. The fire is being called the Texas Seagull fire. It started about 3:30 this afternoon. Right now, level 3 evacuations are in place for the area shaded in red. Here is a map of those evacuations. The area includes north of Bonnie Lake to West Cheney Plaza Road and east to South Wells Road. KREM 2's Christian Garza has been at that scene all day long. Christian, what's the latest?
Right, Mark. Well, just another look at this fire that we've been covering all day long. Now, throughout the day, the smoke has died down compared to what it was when we first got here at 4 p.m. with those pictures that we sent earlier, just that column of smoke. Now I'm going to step off screen and kind of show you what the aftermath is looking like. Besides a few spots here in the tree line, you can see this orange glow behind that tree line. Now, the PIO here on scene tells me that that's just the burning off of the fire line. It's burning down that area. But it's going towards a more secure area for firefighters that they have created. Now, the wind has also died down here in the area a little bit compared to what we've been seeing all day long. However, crews are still going to have to deal with that throughout the night. Now, earlier in that same area, we saw flames kind of shoot up and burn trees here just right in front of us, and actually felt the heat from those flames as well. Now, throughout the afternoon, crews say the fire was being fueled by things like timber, grass, and wheat stubble. Fire crews here on scene say the fire has officially stopped growing currently here at the Texas Ferry Road, meaning that firefighters are making good progress on it and have stopped it from moving forward at this time. I just want to stress, at this time, things could change overnight, whatever, what have you, but right now we're at a good spot. Now, currently there are 5 homes being threatened according to the Spokane County Fire District 3, and level 3 evacuations are still in place for the surrounding area, despite that fire's footprint kind of staying consistent at around that 450 acres. Now, Terry Bunce, the Special Relations Director for Spokane County Fire District 3, says that there are over 150 personnel here on scene actively working to put this fire out, and that number will stay steady kind of throughout the night going into tomorrow morning. Crews are now actively trying to set up a fire trail around the perimeter, like we mentioned, and will continue to work on that perimeter throughout the night into tomorrow morning before state mobilization takes over at around 9 a.m. Now, Bunce says this is a stark reminder that fires can happen quickly in our area, and people across the inland Northwest need to prepare ahead of time.
Wildland season's here. It's not coming, we're in it. I'd encourage your listeners to download Alert Spokane, those apps like Watch Duty that are going to notify them when to go. If you haven't talked through with your family on your escape plans, the ways in and out of your neighborhoods, what you would pack, what you would take, now's the time to be doing that.
At sundown, those air resources that we saw earlier, those planes, those helicopters that were dropping down water, have all left, and they won't be returning until morning potentially, which Bunce says is a good thing because it means that they aren't needed right now at this time. Now, crews have been and will continue to work on this fire trail until the morning throughout the night, so just tune in tomorrow to Up with KREM, and we'll have all those latest updates all morning long until this fire is fully contained. In Rosalia, Christian Garza, KREM 2 News.
All right, Christian, thank you very much. On that note, let's talk weather. The hot, dry, and windy conditions certainly not helping firefighters. Let's get outside right now to Chief Meteorologist Jeremy the Goo. And Jeremy, do you think we're done with the winds that we saw earlier this evening?
Yeah, but I don't necessarily think we're in the clear just yet. It looks like tomorrow we'll see some of those winds around 15, maybe even 20 miles per hour. So it's something worth watching. You can see a beautiful evening over Lake Coeur d'Alene. We saw a little bit of that wildfire smoke earlier from the fire itself that sat some 40 miles away from downtown Coeur d'Alene. Quite impressive. Here are the gusts. Next, say 6 hours, we're looking pretty good. When you have gusts in the teens, that means you are calm between them. Much different than when your wind gusts are up over 30 miles per hour. That's when you have sustained wind steadily fanning those flames of the fire. So it's a much different situation now. As we move through the next couple of days, what is very likely is we wind up seeing a couple of showers develop on the 4th of July, most of those in the southern panhandle and western Montana, and then quickly working their way out. I don't think we have anything to worry about in terms of rain, but there will be a little more atmospheric moisture, which in my world is a good thing. 83 degrees on Thursday, 82 on Friday, which is the 4th of July, and 82 on Saturday as sunshine returns to the skies. Mark?
Jeremy will check back in with you later in the show. Our other big story tonight, the quadruple murder case against Brian Kohberger is ending much sooner than expected. Coberger pleaded guilty to killing 4 University of Idaho students in their off-campus home in Moscow back in November of 2022. From the very beginning, the case attracted attention from all across the globe, with the trial slated to start in August. KREM 2's Amanda Rowley has been following this story from the start. She was in the courtroom this morning when the suspect changed his pleas. She is joining us from Boise with the details.
This plea hearing in the Moscow murder case caught us all by surprise. Even when we learned Brian Coberger was expected to enter a guilty plea, we really didn't know what to expect in Ada County Court today. Ultimately, he admitted to killing the 4 University of Idaho students. A courtroom on edge, anticipating Brian Kohberger's admission of guilt for the murder of Kaylee Gonsalves, Madison Mogan, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin.
Did you, on November 13th, 2022, enter the residence at 1122 King Road in Moscow, Idaho, with the intent to commit the felony crime of murder?
Yes.
Kohberger sat before the Ada County judge and the students' families, pleading guilty to all charges against him. 1 count of burglary and 4 counts of murder.
Did you, on November 13th, 2022, in Latah County, state of Idaho, kill and murder Madison Mogan, a human being?
Yes.
And did you do that willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, and with premeditation and malice of forethought?
Yes.
Did you, on or about that same date in Moscow, Idaho, kill and murder Kaylee Gonsalves, a human being?
Yes.
And did you do that willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, and with premeditation and malice of forethought?
Yes.
And did you, on that same date in Moscow, Idaho, kill and murder Xana Kernodle, a human being?
Yes.
And did you do that willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation and malice of forethought?
Yes.
And then on or about November 13th, 2022, again in Latah County, Idaho, did you kill and murder Ethan Chapin, a human being?
Yes.
The Latah County prosecutor summarized the evidence the state would have presented in trial, including several new details about the night of the crime in November 2022.
The defendant entered the residence of 1122 through the kitchen sliding door on the back side of the residence, which is the side of the residence that would face the area above where the defendant's car was parked.
The prosecutor says Coberger went straight to the 3rd floor bedroom of the King Road home, confronting Maddie and Kaylee. He says that's where the knife sheath with Coberger's DNA was left behind. The murder weapon still hasn't been found.
Mr. Coberger entered the residence at 1122 King Road in Moscow, Idaho. He did that with the intent to kill.
The state says he didn't go home right away, but once he did, they found this evidence on his phone.
He took a selfie of himself on his phone in what appears to be the bathroom of his Pullman apartment with a thumbs up.
The judge accepted Coberger's guilty plea. He now faces a life sentence in prison. The judge will rule on his punishment at the sentencing hearing set for July 23rd. That is when the families get to share their impact statements. Attorneys are confident that hearing will conclude the same day. In the courtroom this morning, I sat right behind Kohberger's family. I saw his father a few times wipe his eyes and otherwise holding his wife in his arms. When I looked across the courtroom, the victims' families kept their focus straight forward, as though they were letting the guilty pleas set in and processing what was happening in that hearing. Reporting in Boise, Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
Some of the victims' families attended today's hearing seeking closure after pushing for justice over the past 2.5 years. Right after court let out, Kaylee Gonzalez's father spoke with the media, saying the plea deal is not enough.
This community will decide that he's guilty. We can take it out of frickin' Thompson's hands. One man shouldn't decide what 4 souls are worth. Let's go.
After the hearing, Madison Mogan's family's attorneys say they support the plea deal and that the family wants to move forward and to heal.
We support the plea agreement 100%. While we know there are some who do not support it, we ask that they respect our belief that this is the best outcome possible for the victims, their families, and the state of Idaho.
Ethan Chapin's family was also in court today. Ahead of the hearing, Stacy, Ethan's mom, says they support the plea deal. We have not heard from Xana's family at this time. Earlier today, the official plea agreement document was publicly filed, showing that Brian Coberger signed onto the deal on Monday. The agreement took many by surprise, but to former Idaho Attorney General Dave Leroy, the outcome was relatively expected.
The alternative theory of perpetrators collapsing last week, it was predictable that if there was to be a plea, it would be right now.
He says an attorney's top objective in a capital case is to avoid the death penalty. So he says this outcome is somewhat of a victory for the defense. All right, don't go to bed just yet. A lot has happened with the Brian Coberger case over the past 2.5 years. We'll go over a timeline of the events coming up in just a few minutes.